You got your position.
Yep,
you got
1P.
your portfolio.
Second P.
The last one.
Third P.
Pitching. So we're going to pitch these people, but you don't want to, again, we don't want to think about the pitch as this huge like mountain that I'm going to have to sell this person.
Right.
Just a convo. You're just having a convo because we need to extract their problems. We need to find out what their problems are. We need to figure out if we can solve them.
Yeah.
And if you can't solve them, that's okay. That's going to happen. Not every phone call that you get on, you're going to be able to sell them your services. I think a big misconception I had, especially when I was starting out, I would get someone on the phone. They'd be like, oh, we need motion graphics. We need this. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And at the beginning, when I didn't have anyone that I knew that did motion graphics, I'm taking on these freaking clients and I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying to go on Fiverr and find some guy if he can help me do motion graphics. It's this whole shit show. So like, don't be afraid to say, I don't actually do that. That's awesome. But I do have another friend that does that. And you call up your buddy and now you got a buddy a job. And next time he or she gets a job, he's going to throw it your way.
Right.
Also, I oftentimes feel like when you're trying to pitch a client, either you're trying to convince them why you're the right client for them, as opposed to being like, let me see if you're the right client that I want to work with.
Right.
You're like dating them, dude.
Yeah, totally.
You never know. I'm telling you guys, until you've had a client hit you up for version 97 at 8 p.m. at night and it's a Sunday and you're going to be like, damn, I never want to work with this. And that becomes an ex-client.
Right.
And you don't ever want to work with those people. It's like,
Don't get back together.
Don't
with
get
the
back together
ex-client.
with that ex-client because it happens, dude. It really does happen more than you'd expect. And you'll do stuff for like, oh, this is going to be $500 and they abuse you for $500.
Right.
We've been there. We've been there.
When you get to the point where you're like, I think I lost
You're
money.
like, I for sure lost money on this job.
The last thing I want to say about this, kind of going about how you were saying, you don't want to like go over like this. You know, it's not a big mountain, right? This is a small thing, but like, I actually think it's important. I hate talking on the phone, dude. I get fucking anxious. And a lot of this shit is done literally over the phone. I'm a little bit over Zoom, but I get real anxious over the phone. Find things that literally make you feel more comfortable when you're talking on the phone. Cause like go on a walk and maybe you're just like doing something that feels a little more natural and then you're going to come across more. I literally get like anxious as fuck. I don't like talking on the phone. I hate it, but you got to do it. You gotta.
So true.
So you go on a walk, or maybe you like put your feet up, get in a comfy position, like literally
put
just
on some sweats.
do something to make you feel like you got a little something on them, and then you have a little more confidence. If you're anxious like me on the phone, you'll understand.
I don't know if you guys are like this. Whenever I'm on a call, like with a client or whatever, I do 17 million laps from my room to the kitchen to the living room and back.
Just pace like a motherfucker.
Go in my like closet, through the bathroom, just through the whole house.
Yeah.
17 million times.
You got it. Dude, pacing really helps. I feel like walking really makes you feel more comfortable. But that is important. It's going to make you pitch better because you're going to be less anxious about it.
And I think too, a lot of people don't have this. A capabilities deck is what every big agency uses. Okay, so go and literally make a little. It doesn't have to be big, like 10 slides max, and just have it say, hey, this is who we are. This is what we do. These are a few things we're really good at. This is what we don't do. So then they don't have them be like, oh, are you guys the color house? Like, no, that's not our thing. We cut the damn video and we execute the video.
Right.
We're going to send this to a color house or whatever.
We don't color.
Exactly.
And going off of that, I think that's really important. You have to know like how you're going to pitch yourself. So either like, okay, I'm an individual and you're working with me, or it's like you're positioning yourself as like a production company and like you get a full team.
Yeah.
Also, a few mistakes that people make when pitching, I would say, is like you're reaching out in the wrong ways. 1, 2, you're throwing out your pricing like before you even get on a call. So like either in like an initial outreach email or like it's the first thing you say on the call, I think is like not a great thing to do. And then not dedicating time on research when you're on a call with a new client and pitching, because you want to try to figure out as much as you can about said client before you get on a call with them. Yeah.
One of the rocks in the coaching I didn't even have to answer this question because the rocks are trained very well in the coaching program. So someone commented and was like, yo, I want to get on the phone with somebody and they told me that they didn't have their budget. And so he's like, I don't know what to do, you know? And so I think the best thing you can do in that situation is you bracket those prices. So you'd be like, yeah, we could get this done for $500. We could get this done for $2,000. We could get this done for $8,000.
Right.
And they're like, oh, 8,000 is crazy. It's like, okay, well, no, we don't have to do it for that much.
Right.
So like,
then
what do you want to do? You know, you need to give me a price that's going to make sense so I can tell you how we're going to build out something around this. Because a $500 video is very different from a $5,000 video. As far as hours we're going to put into this, what you should expect. Like, you want motion graphics, dude? You're not getting it for $500.
Who you're going to hire?
Who am I going to hire? Who has to come in to help me? Can I just do this by myself? Is it just a one-man band
Camera
situation?
you're going to rent potentially?
Exactly.
and we're going to get into this, but you got to understand that every potential client is different. And no, you're not going to charge the same amount of money for two different clients, because you want to use value-based pricing as opposed to like charging hourly, because working with a brand as big as A1 sauce is different than like a mom and pop creating a sauce and they're just like trying to
get it off the ground. You're not going to charge them a ton for that. Yeah, exactly.
Frog Jam, dude. We just did a whole thing. Hyundai, this guy started this thing called Frog Jam. We're giving him free Hyundai, dude. He's the best guy in the world. I love that guy. He's in Georgia. Yeah. That's what's in Georgia. Frog Jam, dude. Buy that shit.
I also think the goal of pitching to a new client is to provide a solution to a problem. Whenever a client comes to you, they have a problem that they need to solve. That's why they're coming to you. And the whole goal of getting on a call and like talking to a client is to figure out what that problem is that they need to solve. And the way you figure that out is just by asking the questions. And you have to ask them the right questions.
Definitely. Give me one question. Can you throw me one good question that you'd ask on a call to a client?
Again, it's like dating, man. You got to ask a lot of questions when you date. Don't be the guy in LA that just talks about himself the whole time.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, you see that. But ask good questions.
Yeah, just like, where is this going to live? What does like a successful shoot look like for you? What do you hope to get out of this shoot?
A question I ask that I think makes them feel like I really care about what it's doing. I say, where is this going to post? Like, where is this going to live? And then when they say like, oh, Instagram, I'm like, okay, great. So we'll do, and then you can really show your expertise and you can say, okay, great. So we'll shoot it vertically. We'll have this kind of feeling to it. It'll feel like this. And they're like, oh, this fucking guy cares about where this is going to live. He's not just making any video. He like knows how we want to see it all the way through. And I think that's really important because, and you would edit a video differently that it's going to end up on Instagram than it would on YouTube or a website or anything like that.
Yeah, maybe ask like, is there a cut of this that's going to be on the website? And if they say yes, then you remember that, so you don't shoot it vertically, and then later on they're like, we want this on the site. You're like, well, that's crazy because it's not going to be able to go on there.
Or figuring out, is this video or set of photos, is the end goal to generate direct sales, or is this just to build like brand awareness?
Yeah, right. That's a huge question.
That is a huge question.
You're gonna write a video that's say 30 seconds long, completely different than you're gonna write a video that's just for brand awareness. I could be like, oh, okay, so we could just tell a fun story in 30 seconds, or if it's just like we need to sell shit, it's like, okay, we need to figure out a way that someone's going to physically click this swipe up without scrolling by it, feel compelled to buy it, put it in their cart, and that's another 2-minute process, and then physically check out.
Dude,
you know, or if it's like I want them to see the video, I want to hit them with a retargeting ad, be like, those are completely different pieces of content you're making. You're like, are we going to make them a 30 and then a 10 and a 5 if they watch the second one for 4 seconds? They can track all that stuff. So
because sometimes a brand just wants to seem cool. Literally, they're just like, look, just show us being cool. The product is cool, whatever. And then sometimes it's like, this new car has 2.2 point, you know what I mean? And it's like very specific, and you need to know you're going to shoot it differently.
Who's the target audience of this? Think about that, right? So you were just saying cars that made me hit, right? So like, say I'm not a car guy. I don't care the horsepower. I don't care about this, but leather seats and like seat warmers and new
People
stereo.
Seem to think you're cool if you get
they
out
think
of
you're
it.
cool. Yeah, you look really sexy in this car. I'm like, oh, okay, that's completely different than the guy that's car guy. What the ad should look like.
Yeah,
you know.